Well, guys, I've only gone and done it. I've started a podcast. Welcome to Marky in the Mix, a podcast where I talk shit for an hour and hope for the best. Today, we have our very first guest, Life of Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hey guys, how
Tell
are
us. Good. Tell us about yourself.
you? Where do we begin? Okay, never really know how to describe myself, but I will say this. Probably know me from TikTok. Marcus knows me personally,
Yay.
but way I would describe myself is a travel addicted, country hopping degenerate.
Well, you sound like. Well, so I got a list of questions. It's gonna feel like a job interview, but honestly, like, just talk normally. Talk how you would to all of your friends, me. So I do have a list of questions on the iPad, just because I had the brain capacity of a rock, so I'm not gonna remember shit. However, I feel like we'll be fine. So, what inspired you to start traveling the world in the first place?
Actually, I wanted to travel since I was like 14. Like, I would sit in school, literally Googling places to go. Like, under the desk, you sit there with your phone, you'd look half one eye up, one eye down, and I'd just Google the best countries to live in, the best countries to travel to. Never ever wanted to stay in Coventry,
No.
obvious reasons. So, one time when I was 16, I took a trip to Paris with my friend, and I told my mum that I was staying at my mate's house down the road.
Bro.
That went about as well as it could. Actually, we pulled it off. But then when she asked me what I was really doing, I said, "Oh, sorry, I'm in Birmingham." Sorry, I lied. Pulled that off, and that is what really kickstarted it all. Like the adventure, seeing new cultures, seeing new places. That was like the tip of the iceberg. Little did I know that 10 years later I'd still be like as addicted.
Mm.
For me, travel was always about originally finding the best place to live. That's not England.
Yeah, no, it's not England's a shithole.
England's terrible. So that was always for me the number one priority. I would go to all these countries and I'd think about if I wanted to live there or not. Before you know it, I thought there's actually a bit of money in this, there's a bit of fun in this. Why not carry on? I'd go to Thailand, I'd go to Indonesia. Never want to live in these places, but it's still worth visiting. And it opens your mind up to a lot. Like the cultures, the activities, the safety risks.
Yeah.
All of this opens your mind up and actually teaches you a hell of a lot as a person. I would argue traveling teaches you a lot more than being in school.
Oh yeah, I mean, valid. Like, for me, I feel like I I learned easier. Like, I learned better actually. Like doing something. I feel like reading books, you don't get like the full like, you don't like get as immersed into it. Like, like when you're at work and you're like doing like all the bloody like, what are they called? The
Training modules.
yeah, the training modules. Like, it's like all well and good reading it, but actually doing it at the job, I feel like, I don't know, it gets into your brain better.
A hell of a lot better.
Like, which is why I feel like you can watch people like traveling around the world, but you don't really learn that much until you do it yourself.
No, exactly. A big part for me was I'd be sitting there in maths learning about isosceles triangles, and my teacher would be telling me this is crucial to your success. I'm like, are you the definition of success? Because if you are, I don't want it, mate.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't want it.
Like, when are you ever going to really need that information unless you're going to be like some sort
Teaching
of like
that information.
Yeah.
So it's just the whole rat race circle.
Yeah, I feel like traveling, you're going to get much more like life knowledge, but like traveling around. So like, when did you like start like documenting it? Because you've been traveling for what, 10 years now? But
Yeah.
like, when did you start like documenting it?
Documenting was an interesting one. It was just when I first downloaded TikTok, I made a little travel complication.
Complication.
Yeah,
Compilation. Jesus Christ. Good start, guys.
Made one of those little edits, and it got like 2K views or something. I was like, oh, that's actually quite interesting. Further along as I went, because I was traveling, I was on a little bit of a world tour, Europe tour, you could say, and I was constantly traveling between work and travel, switching between travel and work. And I was going to all these places like Morocco, Egypt, Turkey, Malta, Cyprus, and I thought, why not just video it and just document it? Started with this, and then before you know it, I actually had a lot of people messaging me and being like, actually, what you're doing is really cool. I booked my first flight. I've done this. I was really scared to solo travel. Now I'm doing it. I'd probably say that was the main motivator and keep me going. There's obviously periods where I stopped and I didn't really do it that often, hence why the growth has stunted. But the main motivation for me to do it is just to actually just convince more people to do it.
Yeah.
Especially if they are thinking about it. I've got countless friends who, back home in Coventry, who are thinking about travelling, want to do it, but they're like, oh, I've never gone anywhere solo. I've only gone with my partner, or I've only gone with my friends on lads' holidays or girls' holidays. And I was like, but there's a whole other world out there. Like, the best holidays I've had are with people I met on the holiday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, I have so much fun going through my camera roll of the videos and the photos because I'm just like, damn, I hope I get to see this person again.
I mean, that's the thing, like, a lot of, like, friends that you make on travels do tend to stick with you. Like, we're in that day and age now where we've got, like, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's really easy to just, like, keep in contact with people. But, like, for the friends that you make on holiday and stuff like that, I feel like you always remember them. Like, you have, like, friends that you make it, like, in your hometown, and you're like, oh, yeah, like, we were friends for a little while. But, like, you kind of, like, drift apart. But, like, for me, it was, I never, like, went travelling as such. Like, I went to Cyprus when I was 4 years old. Went to New Zealand when I was 5. But, like, I never really, like, left the UK. But, like, it was, like, with friends I would make at, like, Butlins as, like, a 12-year-old. That, like, they kind of, like, stick with you.
They
like,
stick with you.
I used to hang out with them for, like, 2 days. Not seeing them in 12 years. But, like, I don't know, they kind of, like, stick with you. So I feel like when you're, like, travelling around, like, the friends you make in different countries would stick with you.
It's something about you, the fact that you meet in a place which you both voluntarily came to, which means you have a shared interest.
Yeah.
I'd argue you can achieve the same result if you're both at the boxing gym or a football club or etc. This is just another version of that.
Yeah.
The friends that I grew up with, most of them I don't speak to just because we don't have any shared interests.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we went to the same school, but that's about it.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we used to kick a ball about, we used to, go pub a couple of times, but no real shared interests. The people who, I've got 1 or 2 friends who I've only ever met in foreign countries. There's one lad that I know, I met him in Dubai, but since then we've been to Budapest together, to London, one more place which I can't remember, and we're planning to meet up this year in Bali.
Oh, sick.
And I've known him for like 3 years, and I've only ever seen him in a different place each time. It's those sort of friendships that stick with you, and I'd argue that's one of the best reasons to do it.
Yeah.
To travel.
I love the fact that you're like, oh yeah, we're planning to, like, meet up in Bali in, like, what, a month. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of jealous of the fact that, like, people could be like, oh yeah, I'm going to, like, Egypt in 2 weeks' time, and then I'm going to go to Dubai afterwards, and then, if I've got time, go to France. Like, I'm actually fucking jealous.
Well, the thing is, people think this sort of life is... First of all, you have to be a certain kind of person to constantly travel, constantly put yourself in uncomfortable situations in foreign countries. Like, I remember the first time I went to Egypt, I was shitting bricks. I was 18. You can call me fresh off the boat if you want. I was literally there like, what the fuck am I doing here in Africa, in an Arabic country? Like, but it was fine. Like, it's how I grew. There were certain points in certain countries that I would hate to even leave and go out in the streets. Just because I know I'm going to get harassed, something's going to happen. And then eventually you're just like, alright, Nick Williams, nice to meet you, try me.
Yeah, like, what could be worse than Coventry, Auckland CBD, like...
Yeah, like, you just sort of...
I could get out and get jacked, like...
But when you travel, you kind of just gain a certain confidence about yourself. Because once you see yourself doing these things which you didn't think were possible, you gain more confidence. Gain more confidence, you do more things.
Yeah.
It's a circle that just keeps going like this. Well, that's not a circle, but...
Yeah, I was going to say. So, like, how do you necessarily, like, decide, like, where you're going to go travelling? Do you, like, plan it all out, or do you just go, like, oh, the vibes seem nicer?
At this point, again, it still goes back to, if I'm interested in a place for living purposes, I'm way more inclined to go there faster. For example, Bali, we're thinking about that. I'm like, get me on a flight now, I want to see if it's for me. There's an island in the Philippines called, I think, Sagao. low-key curious about it. I know it's a nice place to visit. I can tell it's a nice place to visit. That's not where I want to go. I want to go to see if I can make a life out of that.
Yeah.
That's my main motivator right now. And the second one being just to experience a culture I haven't experienced yet. For example, South and Central America, I haven't experienced at all. I haven't been there. That is top of the agenda for 25.
Yeah.
Whether I'll actually get to is a whole different story.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, probably don't go to LA right now.
One thing I'd like to add is, one thing about travelling is people think it's a super unattainable life because it's expensive. It's not. I don't spend. I'd probably argue my expenses day to day are lower than the person who is comfortable in a suburban life in Auckland or in Coventry or wherever.
I mean, yeah, like Auckland's expensive as fuck, and like everywhere's different. Like, probably, like Australia, it's easier to live there. Rent's cheaper. You make more money.
Yeah.
I feel like isn't like Auckland like one of the most expensive cities to like live in?
It definitely is. But for example, I don't have a car. I don't have car payments. I don't have insurance. No taxes to pay. No fuel. Nothing like that. When I'm in Auckland, I've got a little modest room in the CBD. My food, Domino's, Countdown, occasional steak if I'm feeling it.
Start meal.
Yeah, and like nothing for me is overly expensive, and I'm very good at saving money. So then when it comes to actually traveling, either I use the money that I'm earning from online, or I can use savings, and both could take me so far. The most expensive thing is the flight ticket. The flight ticket's the most expensive thing. Like, for example, now if I want to fly to Dubai, it's about $1,000.
Yeah.
That's the cheapest one. But what's $1,000 when you don't have car payments over 12 months?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, Jake and I pay for our car like every fortnight. And like, if you add that onto like how much we pay for our apartment and how much we pay for our car parking spot, it really adds up. Like, I pay around $800 a fortnight. Like, that's $400 a week.
It's a lot.
Like, it really adds up. And it's like, even if like the car park spot's like $50, like it's not necessarily outrageously expensive, but it does add up. So like, if you don't have a car, like, you know, you're sharing like a house with like other people, you actually save so much money.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually insane. And like, when you're traveling around, like most people, they like stay in hostels and stuff like that. For like traveling around, you don't have to pay like an absolute like crap ton of money for like a hotel. Like, isn't there like apps or like websites and stuff like that where you can like meet people around the world and just like...
Yeah, there's plenty. I'm not really too involved with the apps, but for example, if you go on Hostel World, for example, hostels first of all are the absolute best way to meet people and to stay. I don't even waste my time not going in a hostel.
Yeah,
I love it. Even if you want to go in a hostel private room, bougie yourself. But there's places on Hostel World app where when you book a certain place, say you book a hostel in Bali, in Canggu, you'll get added to first the hostel chat, and then you'll get added to the Canggu chat, and that's how you meet people.
Yeah.
If you're, say for example, if you've got no social skills and you can't meet people in the hostel.
Basically me, I've got too much social anxiety. Like, it took me like ages to make friends at work.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. So there's lots of options. Like, someone would just message in, like, for example, when I was in Canggu in October, someone messaged in the Canggu chat saying, hey, I'm going out, anyone want to come? A couple of people messaged. These guys are still my friends.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I did that when I first moved here because it took me 3 months to find a job here. And I had actually joined a Facebook group, which is like, it's like, I forgot what it's called, but I think it's like Aucklanders 18 to 25 or whatever. And it's just like people like have like moved to Auckland recently and be like, hey, looking to make friends. Do you guys want to like hang out, go to the beach or whatever? And like, I didn't really meet people from that just because, I don't know, I feel like part of me was thinking like, oh, it'd be quite sketchy.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, but a lot of people make friends like off of that. But I think for me personally, I made most of my friends at work because when you work in hospo, you're meeting people that are also traveling. Yeah. Like, there's so many people, like, you know, I became friends with you through work. Like, you know, you're like traveling around. Like, most of us aren't even from New Zealand. Yeah. Like, you know, like Julian, like he like I don't know, he's from France.
France.
You know,
Zach from India.
you never know how long people are staying here for, which is like almost what makes it exciting. Like I've made friends here that I've only been at work for like a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
But like you kind of like you become friends with them quickly because you're like, oh, we don't know how long we're going to be in Auckland for.
It's actually one of the things that drew me to the fact that the atmosphere within the staff was almost similar to a hostel.
Mm.
It was like going into a hostel, just for a little bit longer term sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like the people all from different parts of the world, everyone's staying for different times. Very easy to meet friends. Everyone's open to making friends. Like it's a big plus. It's actually a glimpse into travel life.
I mean, that's the thing. That's what I was thinking. Definitely going to bleep out the company names. Oh yeah. By the way, I live here. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like I don't travel around like countries, but if you work somewhere where you meet people that are, it's quite interesting. Like the different perspectives you get. Like there's language barriers, but like you kind of like learn each other's languages. Like we had when I first started at work, like there's a few Spanish people there, and I started trying to like learn bits of Spanish to like interact with them better. Yeah, so what else have I got here actually? Just gonna kind of like go on from that. Oh, actually, no. Going back to what we were saying earlier, like, what's like the most like expensive country like versus like the cheapest country you've like went around? Because I know I saw on TikTok. What was that country that you're like, oh, it's actually like dirt cheap to live here? You said something of it being like $5 a night for some like hostel or whatever.
Dirt cheap countries. I can't remember the exact video you're referring to, but Vietnam.
I think it was Vietnam. There was one where you're like, oh yeah, it was only like $5 a night to stay here. Like it's really cheap.
Yeah, Vietnam is ridiculously cheap. Like, you get a beer for $2, hostel for $5. Hotel. Actually, at one point, me and Connor were in Nha Trang, which is like a coastal city in the middle of Vietnam, and we had to choose between staying in a hostel for fun and having like the parties and all this, or staying in a nice hotel for basically the same price. The hotels were that cheap as well. And then what we did is we stayed a couple of nights in the hostel, then we booked ourselves into a nice hotel with like a rooftop pool and the balcony on the sea view. All of it's the same price. It was so dirt cheap, but I can't recommend that place enough.
Yeah, no, it's like I've never been to Vietnam. Like I said, I've only been to, Cyprus, New Zealand, England, and LA airport for 5 minutes. But like I don't really count like. People are like, oh, have you ever been to America? It's like, yeah, but I've been to America for like 5 minutes, so I can't really say I've been to America.
Yeah.
But like on like the list of like places I want to travel to, Vietnam is on there. But like, I don't know, like what's the most, like what would you say the most expensive country you've been to?
Most expensive?
I would assume Dubai.
Actually, no.
Really?
The UAE, I would say, actually is fairly balanced. It's got something for everyone because you have people who are like not very wealthy working there, and then you have the super rich. There's something to cater to everyone. The supermarkets are fairly priced. Lots of places where you can get Western food fairly priced. Hostels, as you know, I have a hostel there, like fairly priced. Most expensive, I would say, is probably the Scandinavian countries: Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Oh yeah.
Those are, for me, a total waste of time, and I don't say that lightly.
Really?
Yeah, total waste of my time. I did a couple of days in each, and I hated it. It was just, I went in July. It was just cold and grey, expensive. Like it was like, I remember at one point I just got into Norway from the train station, and I got lots of slander for this on TikTok, for when I made Norway as one of my worst 3 countries. I got lots of slander for this on TikTok for saying a Burger King cost €15, and then was like, why are you going to Burger King in Norway? Like, eat some local food. What I didn't say was, I literally just got off the train, got into Norway, and I hadn't eaten for like 12 hours. I just wanted the first thing I could find, and I was like, I saw Burger King, I was like, sweet, that'll do me for the next few hours. And it was like $15, $16 for just a burger. And I was like, where the hell am I? Like, have I woke up in like 2050 with inflation rates? Like, is someone here on a pay rate that I don't know about? Like, what's going on? And there's nothing really to do there, in my opinion. Especially if you're older generation, if you're like 50s plus, sure, you might enjoy the slowness and the pace. I hated it. But also part of the reason I hated it, I think, was because I came straight from Morocco. So imagine the chaos of Morocco. I've got some stories about that for you. The chaos of Morocco to the calmness and the cold and the peace of Norway. I think for my junky adrenaline,
Yeah.
needed body is just like, nah, I hate it.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's a music producer that I follow, Adrian Foyer. I think he lives in Norway at the minute, but he moved to Norway to kind of get out of like the loud city. He just like focuses on his music in like a mountain in the middle of nowhere. And like, yeah, it's like a nice life, but I'm like, I would love to live that life, but when I'm 40.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a nice life, but like, not when I'm 24.
Nah. I mean, that's one of the reasons I actually left Christchurch, actually, because Christchurch is a nice city, but for me, there was nothing there. Like, most places were like closed at 7 p.m. Like, the nightlife wasn't it. Like, I might get hate for saying that. Like, I did get hate for saying that a little while ago, actually, when I was like, oh yeah, Christchurch is like a massive care home. Like, am I right? Am I right? But the thing is, like, people are like, oh yeah, but you know, you've explored like the main city. But it's like, yeah, but the main city closes at like 8 o'clock as well. There's barely any bars, and like, I don't go out drinking that often. But like, for me, that's like the best way to meet people. You know, if you want to, you know, if you come to like New Zealand looking for nightlife, go to Wellington. Go to Auckland.
Wellington's got a good nightlife.
Wellington has amazing nightlife. The only thing is, like, nightlife in Wellington is, I would say, more catered to the LGBTQIA plus community. I feel like that's like
just one
the queer zone of YouTube.
Just
YouTube,
one big
New
K
Zealand.
road.
Yeah, just with just with less knife crime, I would say.
Yeah.
Nah, but like Auckland's got like more like clubs and like bars and stuff like that, in my personal opinion. But like Wellington nightlife is like most people in New Zealand would say that Wellington is the nightlife city. Like, fuck Auckland.
Just don't tell certain people, like Julian. Don't tell people that there's a better nightlife in Wellington. They'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, I mean, yeah, no. I feel like I want to go back to Wellington. I've not been to Wellington in 2 years. And when I went to Wellington, I went with my mum. Like, we didn't go out clubbing. We went for a cider at a bar that was on top of our hotel. And my mum was like, oh yeah, I'm done for the night now. Fully a bit tipsy. I've had a cider. Ooh, look at me go. And I was like, I'm ready for more. Like, I'm 19 years old. Tell me like clubbing.
Yeah.
Mum's like, oh, you know, got to be in bed by 9. We've got the concert tomorrow. It's like, take me out, please.
Damn, maybe Wellington's a good shout to go to.
Oh, 100%. Fucking expensive though.
Yeah.
Really expensive. We paid $16 for a cider, which doesn't seem like. I guess if you're living in Auckland, that's kind of like, oh yeah, that's like average.
Auckland
But
Viaduct, that's quite normal. Yeah.
Still, $16 for a cider is kind of wild. Bearing in mind, in the UK, what Strongbow pack of 6 Strongbow was like what, £5?
Yeah.
Like,
not even that. Like, I'd go into a Spoons, and I remember I'd taken a photo when I came back after living here. Came to the Spoons in my local, and I was like, damn, like a beer's £2.50.
yeah.
Don't get that here.
No, you don't. I mean, like, yes, you know, if you're converting prices, like UK pounds to New Zealand dollars, it's doubled, but still, you're talking £8 for a pint of cider.
Yeah, insane.
And pint glasses in New Zealand, just a quick side thing, pint glasses in New Zealand are shit. 425 mils for a pint glass. I'm sorry, that's not a pint.
It's not a real pint.
That is not a real pint. I swear to God, even Guinness pints here seem smaller. Maybe it's because I was like 15, 16 when I left the UK. But I swear to God, Guinness glasses were bigger in the UK. Unless I'm just talking out my arse.
We need to stop talking about alcohol because I want to go for a beer now.
Yeah, that's what I could for. But we don't talk about that. So what's been your most like unforgettable travel moment so far?
Unforgettable travel moments.
Other than meeting me in here.
First one that always comes to mind is about 3 years ago when I was in Morocco, and I decided to go to a small coastal city called Agadir. But the hostel I was staying at was actually in the next town over. It was in a little surf village.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, cool, why not? Let's do it. Got myself in a taxi there, and then for the way back, I was informed. So my flight was at like 6 a.m. in the morning. I said to the hostel, I'm going to leave the night before. They're like, yeah, cool. I was looking at when the last buses were, or the taxi, or whatever. I had to leave, I had to leave at like 6 p.m. Something stupid like this. Is when I was proper like budget backpacking. Like I had just a little North Face backpack, and I was saving as much money.
Like Robbie's big ass backpack that he's got.
Yeah, I basically had that, but for my whole year. And so I got outside, and then I was informed that it was Ramadan, but I'm not exactly too familiar with Islamic holidays. But it's not like the Ramadan where they fast. It's a different one in August. Right.
Yeah, I'm not
too.
I'm not too well versed on that.
But all I remember is they were just rounding in. What's this? What's the capital of Morocco? I forgot.
I wouldn't know.
I forgot. Oh, I don't forget these things. Okay, but anyway,
Wait, hold on.
Marrakesh. Yeah, Marrakesh.
Oh yeah, of course.
Marrakesh.
Yeah, I knew
I
that.
was in Marrakesh and I saw them all rounding up all these goats. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Why is everyone rounding up goats? When I got to the little town, I realised that the goats were part of the ritual for this holiday.
Yeah.
Where they were slaughtering the goats and they were eating every single part of the goat. They were using the sheepskin for their rituals, for their dancing. And they were like going in the streets. Like at night, I was literally looking out the window and there was like those people running around in goat skin, eating the goats, putting the goat on fire. The next morning, it was like something out of the apocalypse. You walk out and it's just goats' heads and little limbs and stuff all over the place. Some fire's still going where they're still cooking the leftover goat. It was like an apocalypse for goats. I feel so bad for them, mate. And then they told me that, because of Ramadan, there's no services working.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, okay, how am I going to get to the airport? I had to first get to the city, then from the city get to the airport, which is on the corner of the city. So it was like 2 hours. The drive was like an hour, then another hour. I'm not joking. Bear in mind, this is August, 45 degrees, basically in the Sahara Desert.
Yeah.
I had the backpack. No buses came, no taxis came. After 30 minutes, I'm standing in the sun. I was like, might as well make some leeway. I started walking. Within 5 minutes, I'm out of the town and it's just one road. And I see a factory in the far distance and just sand. And I'm just like walking. I'm like, I ain't got enough water. I'm going to die out here. Occasionally a car passed and I'll put my thumb up, I'll be like, oh, please stop.
Please, sir.
Eventually, one person stopped and he dropped me to the factory. And I had to walk from the factory to Agadir, where I finally found civilization. And I thought, if I can do this, mate, I can do absolutely anything. That is probably one of my craziest stories. In terms of like scams and stuff, I don't think I've really been scammed. We had this conversation before about Egypt.
Yeah.
Egypt is, if you're gullible, then yeah, you're getting scammed every day. If you just assume people are out to scam you, which maybe is not the best mindset.
But it's always good to be like cautious and aware. Like even here, I'm cautious of people around me.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, Egypt, you just got to have a common sense. But you could argue that for any part of the world.
Mm.
Also, the beautiful thing about travelling around is if you don't have common sense, travel will give it to you.
Oh, 100%. It's like a massive like shock.
Yeah, and it'll keep taking your money until you receive the common sense. Americans, watch this. Go travel.
Just the Americans, by the way. Fuck everyone else. We don't care.
Everyone else is fine.
Yeah. Stay in the UK.
Whoa. That's bad advice.
That's fucking awful advice. So, like, you're talking about, like, how you've, like, gained a lot of, like, knowledge and stuff from traveling around. But, like, would you say that traveling has necessarily changed you as a person?
Oh, for sure.
Like, in what way?
Me in Coventry, all I knew was football, going to the pub, and
Chicks.
cheer. And then you realise there's so much more out there. Like, I want to eat tapas in Spain. I want to drink what's a Spanish beer? No, not Stella. Oh, that's not Stella.
What the fuck are you on about?
No, I'm talking about, like...
I thought you were going to say Peroni, in which I would have
That's
calmly corrected you.
That's Italian, yeah. Like, I want to eat Italian...
Corona.
No, they have one. Madri, Costa will know this. He loves this beer.
Is he Spanish?
Italian, ironically.
Oh my god.
But like, I want to eat pad thai in Thailand. Every opportunity I can, I'm just obsessed with like going to a new country. Even if I've been there before. Like, how to just say this in the best way? The more experiences you'll have, the longer your life seems. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, think about it. If you're waking up, you're going to work every day, you're doing the same thing. If that's for you, great. Kudos. You found your life. I'm happy for you. I'm talking to the people who know it's not for them but are continuing to do it.
Yeah.
If you're going to wake up and go to do the same thing every day and you hate it, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, where's this year gone? All I've done is go to work. So in the whole year, you've done one thing. You've gone to work. If you're like me, if I ask you what I've done last year in 24, the start of 24 seems so far away because I've done so many things that I thought it was like 3-4 years ago already. That's how far away it seems in my mind.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, I've worked a lot. Like, I work full time. I worked a lot last year, but thinking about it, I did a crap ton last year. Like, there's been so much stuff I've done where it felt like the year had gone quick, but it also felt like it had gone really slowly.
Because you've done things.
Like, living in Christchurch, I worked in New World for 3 years. And, like, yeah, it was an okay job when I was, like, 18, 19, 20. But I went there every day, starting work at, like, 4 a.m. I felt like a did fuck all. Until I left Christchurch and left New World and moved to Auckland. That's when, for me, I feel like life actually started. Like, I was like, shit, I'm doing my own thing now. I've got free reign.
Yeah. Like, basically taking control of your situation is the best thing you can do. Can you imagine being like 60 and then all you've done is clocked in? I saw someone post on Instagram yesterday.
I think I've seen this. I think I know exactly what you're going to say. Is it if you're not locking in, if you're clocking in or something like that?
If you the cost of not locking in,
yeah,
clocking in.
Yeah, that was it. It's like I knew exactly what you're going to say.
Exactly. Like, there's a reason I started like the travel TikTok. Sure, I get to document it. And I get a couple likes and all this, a couple of brand deals.
200 comments about why you should wear sunscreen in Auckland.
Yeah. Actually,
Ozone.
Actually, if any sunscreen brands want to partner with me, now is the perfect time.
No sunscreen brand's going to want to fucking partner with you because you don't wear it.
I'll wear it for them.
Imagine you get sponsored by Nivea but not wearing it. Hi Nivea, can you sponsor me? Fucking peeling face.
I need a brand to sponsor me for Suncream. I need them to send me Suncream. Otherwise, I won't buy it. Waste of money. I can buy a plane ticket.
For the price of sunscream.
In the UK, you can.
I mean, to be fair, no, I was at Chemist Warehouse yesterday. No, I was at Countdown yesterday, and they had like that big tub of like Nivea SPF 50, like the pump one, $44.
Is that good or bad?
Well, considering I can fly to Christchurch for 70.
Bad. See, waste of money.
Yeah, it's 22 quid for a.
Also, what are you gonna do with 5 litres of sun cream? I've got the same little bottle like that, which I've been using since the Philippines in February.
Yeah, I've got like a spray one that I use, which is lasting because Jake doesn't wear fucking sun cream. Whereas I
Terrible.
No, he doesn't, and I have to literally lather it on. I'm so scared of like skin cancer, and also now I've got tattoos. I want them to like look nice like the rest of my life. Yeah, they're gonna get
actually,
chopped
we've
up.
got quite a colour difference now, and that's because I was burnt like to a
It's
crisp.
it's the blowout for me.
The blowout.
Yeah, where the lines are kind of like because you're like so sun damaged, the lines are like kind of like blending in together.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Whereas I made sure that my fine line was inside my arm. That way it's always protected.
True.
These I can just get topped up. Fine line, that'll be fine. I mean, I'm gonna get it coloured anyway. But like, I'm so scared of like, basically anything that can make me ill.
Don't you vape?
But we don't talk about that. That's a mental health thing. Yeah, no, but like, yeah. So if Nivea, if you want to sponsor Nick,
Nivea, Chemist Warehouse.
just the whole of Kevin's Warehouse.
Just the whole of Chemist Warehouse. And any sun cream brands, if you're watching this, I'm your guy.
Viagra. Julian words, not mine.
Julian's words.
Yeah, Julian's words. If you guys, Julian is one of Nick's friends, by the way, from France. We're not just talking about some random person.
Yeah.
Or are we?
We might be.
We might be.
We might be.
So what, just carrying on this conversation, what advice would you give to someone that wants to travel around? Like, other than just fucking do it.
I was actually going to say, just fucking do it.
Yeah, I could see your lip twitch.
There's a deeper meaning to that. Really, the reality is, right, I always think about it this way now. None of us are making out of here alive.
Mm.
Everything people are like are so scared to like let go of the grasp. Not gonna be with you when you're dead in a grave 6 feet under, mate. So like, what are you holding on to everything for?
Mm.
Most people are scared to like leave. If you're talking about like tribal sense, leave the pack. So
Mm.
imagine like all your mates are down the pub, all your mates are doing the same thing, working on a tradie job,
Mm.
and you've got that one geezer who wants to travel, wants to go to Thailand, but all his mates will take the piss with him. What are you going to Thailand for, mate? Let's go pub.
Oh,
Forget
gap
about
year.
yeah. So it's just like most people are very scared to like stray from the group and do the abnormal thing. But my only advice for that is, okay, my mind's gone blank. What I was gonna say was my advice for that is, if you were say to lose said friends from doing your thing, it's not really a loss.
No, not really.
It's alignment.
Mm.
For example, all the friends that I've lost, not necessarily because they were hating on me, but just because there was just such a big indifference.
Yeah.
I had nothing to relate to them about. All the friends that I've lost, I've gained back tenfold with friends that are actually aligned with what I am.
Mm.
So I'd say if you're gonna, actually, there's only benefits to chasing, like your goals and traveling and taking the risks. The more I take risks, you got to think of it like this: a big circle, right? This is your comfort zone.
Yeah.
The more you take a risk, say you're out here, and the comfort zone's here, you're out here. Then your comfort zone's here. Then next time you go here, now all of a sudden all of this is comfort. So then that's your comfort zone. Now it gets to a point where I can rock in a Chinese city where no one speaks English. I have no internet, no money, and I know I'm going to be sweet because that's my comfort zone.
And that's the thing, like, how do you... Well, one thing I'm curious about, it's actually not a listed question, we're now diverting away from the listed questions, because I'm just curious. With, like, how do you go about language barriers?
Language barriers, first of all, most of the time, we're very fortunate English our primary language. It's very widely spoken, even to like an extent where you become very good at recognizing signals.
Mm.
So if someone could be like, for example, people always ask me how I understand certain people, like, I don't know, an Indian accent. Like, I know there's certain people who are like, how the hell do you understand that? I'm like, mate, I've heard so many Indians, like, or a Chinese accent, or a French one.
Mm.
You become very good at understanding what they're trying to say. If they don't speak any English, first of all, we've got this beautiful little thing called a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Where you just download the language.
Apple, if you want to sponsor Nick.
Where you just download the language. You're not going to go to Thailand, and even if you go to like a corner of Thailand where no one's been and no one speaks English, you're going to have internet. Just download the language.
Yeah.
Just go on Google Translate.
Yeah.
China, you won't have internet. You won't have access to Google. Just download the language. It's very simple.
Just download it.
Yeah, it's actually that simple. And next thing you know, you're talking into the phone. They're talking into it. And you understand each other perfectly.
Yeah, because I have seen that app going around. I don't know what it's called, but like there is an app where, yeah, like you said, they just speak into it. It translates. Like it's not 100% accurate, but like it works. And I feel like, for example, like I said, going back to like working in hospo, we get so many different like people like from so many different like countries, cultures, whatever come in.
Yeah.
I've had to serve customers that cannot speak English at all. But, like, you know why they're there. You know what they want. Like, I feel like, for example, when I was working at New World, I had staff that had flown over from other countries. They couldn't speak English that well. People are visual learners.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the way I communicate with people that, like, they can't understand me and I can't understand them, I literally just, like, point, sign, show. Like,
I was actually going to add to that. I would say you'd be surprised how far pointing goes. How much that helps, just pointing.
Mm.
Go to a little stand in the middle of Indonesia. What do you want? Point to the papaya.
Yeah.
That's it. How much? 3 million? I'm joking, it would be 3 million. That's like $300, but...
How much a papaya costs in Auckland.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Is travelling around is only getting easier.
Mm.
Fares are only getting more affordable. The main thing is... just be smart with your money. If someone who has got aspirations to travel and, you know, have this life of freedom,
Yeah.
you've got to be smarter with your money when you're not traveling.
Yeah.
And actually when you're traveling, but it starts at when you're not traveling. that is the baseline of it all.
I mean, like, and going on to like talking about like money and stuff like that. You managed to set up a business in Dubai.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, how did that even start? Like,
Interestingly enough, back to the hostel conversation, me and my business partner met in a hostel in Dubai.
Mm.
This was maybe back in 2020. I think it was,
oh really? Like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh
During
shit.
COVID as well, yeah. Dubai was one of those places which had very few restrictions. They were like, if you can get here, you can do whatever you want.
Mm.
So I met her in a hostel in Dubai. We were friends. Again, she was another one of my travel friends who, whenever I was in Dubai or whenever we could, we'd meet up, hang out. And then in May of last year, we went out to a beach bar together with some friends, and then the idea came up. We were like, what about a hostel? By August, I was back in Dubai starting a hostel. The process is, I won't lie, the process is very difficult.
Mm.
From the legalities to finding the properties to the contracting and outsourcing everything. It's not easy.
No.
But it's rewarding. And this all came from a love of travelling. So I guess it all goes back to one thing. But yeah.
Nice. Interesting.
We can edit this.
I forgot the next question I was going to ask, actually. But yeah, so you've got, TikTok, Instagram, MySpace?
Yeah, guys, you can find me on TikTok, Life of Nick. I'm sure many of you have already seen me as I'm
However,
super famous.
the I is an X. I feel like I should add that.
Yeah, Marcus will post it.
Yeah, the links will be in the description below. Like Life of Nick on TikTok. Although, when this episode goes out, if you're in America, I'm so sorry, because when this episode goes out, it's due on the 20th. TikTok's like probably going to get banned on the 19th. So
Sorry.
follow Nick on Red Note.
Yeah, sorry, Yanks, find me on Red Note. I'm sure I'll be there. Ni hao.
Is that racist? I don't know. We'll soon find out. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast.
My absolute pleasure. Tell me I am much better than him.
See, I'm also going to have to bleep that out because
Oh, yeah.
viewers don't know who the next guest is.
Oh, you're keeping it a secret sort of thing?
Well, if you guys want to know, like, if you want to get like bits and pieces of future episodes, follow me on Instagram. I've not made a TikTok yet, but I will. So if I make a TikTok, that will also be in the description. But follow Marky in the Mix on Instagram if you want to get like little bits of like bonus information. I'm going to be posting like teasers and previews over on the Instagram. So give me a follow on there. Yeah, follow me on OnlyFans. I'm joking. Yeah. So thank you, Nick.
My absolute pleasure.
Thank you, viewers. If you've made it this far, well done. I was actually super nervous to do this. I'm not very good at speaking. I also had a cold last week, so my voice is I've still been like coughing throughout this.
This is actually also my first podcast, so
yeah, it's Nick's first podcast. My first podcast, sort of. We're not going to count the one that started 3 years ago. But thank you guys for watching and or listening, depending on where you're listening from. And we'll see you next one. Au revoir.